How are you? Hillary Clinton just warned of the end of American democracy, as many other people have been doing lately. So let me read you a quick quote from her. Hillary Clinton has compared Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler as she offered a blunt warning about the dangers of a second Trump presidency. Trump back in the White House, Clinton said, would be the end of our country as we know it, and I don't say that lightly. So, what is going on here? At the same time, Trump appears to be pulling ahead of Biden in many of the polls, leading pundits to say things like, if the election was held today, Trump would probably win. The Economist recently had a headline that summed it up really well. I thought Donald Trump looks terrifyingly electable. So what's going on here? What does the future hold for American democracy? Is Hillary right when she says it be the end of our country, of our democracy? So let me give you some context, and then I'm going to talk to you about what I think the future holds. So if you've been reading me for a long time, you know that I am one of the people that originally predicted the rise of something like Trumpism, of implosive social movements in America. So you can think of me as one of these OG characters that said, hey man, something is going to go wrong here. So why was there a group of us that was saying that? Why did people like me begin to say that? So this isn't about politics, really. If you like Trump, if you love Trump, if you hate Trump, whatever, it doesn't matter. Even if you like Trump, I get it. I understand Trump's appeal. So we're just talking about social science for the time being. So what happened? And this was way back, I would say, around 2012. Wearing my Economist Top 50 Thinkers hat, I looked at the social indicators, the socioeconomic indicators, as I do. It's kind of my job, right? So what I saw really troubled me and alarmed me. So what I began to see, and this was a major statistic that clued me in that an implosive social movement was going to be on the rise, was that for the first time in American history, the middle class had become a minority. Okay, so that might sound like something that's bad to you intuitively. You might get the feeling that, oh, that's not good, right? But to me, as an economist, that is a huge warning signal. That's like a 9-alarm fire, right? That's a major predictor of social collapse. So what were some other indicators? Well, incomes had been stagnant for a long time. Living standards seemed to be stuck or plummeting. Whatever dimension I looked at, whether it was trust or happiness or friendship or social bonds, upward mobility appeared to have come to an end, and every generation seemed to be doing worse than the last one before it. So all of these socioeconomic indicators kind of led me to the inescapable conclusion that a movement like Trumpism was on the way. So this was around 2012, 2013. I started talking about all this stuff, and by 2015, sure enough, Trumpism showed up right on cue. So how would I put it today? Well, the way that I would put it today is that America underwent a widespread process of immiseration. So immiseration, that's a word from classical European sociology. What does it mean? It means exactly what it sounds like. Life gets pretty miserable. You're caught in a trap, and it seems like there's no good way out. So immiseration, when it was invented as a concept, we didn't have all these grand social indicators, right? Today we do, and we can kind of track it. And the way that I would define immiseration today is to use the concept that I often do of eudaimonia, the ancient Greek word for a life well lived. So is a society, doing well in eudaimonic terms or not? Is well-being rising or is it falling? And what was true in America, over the last several decades is that well-being was not doing well at all. It was stagnant, and then it was falling in many dimensions, often catastrophic, right? So that is kind of how Trumpism happened, okay? Immiseration leads to implosive social movements, authoritarianism, fascism, theocracy. And it should be pretty easy to see why, because people kind of throw their hands up and give up. They lose faith in institutions. They lose trust in systems. They turn pessimistic about the future. And that makes it very easy for demagogues to come along and pretend that they're superheroes and point the finger at innocents who become scapegoats for the woes of a society that is being immiserated. Okay, so that is the theory of how kind of social collapse happens. Now, what's happening today? Why is it that despite all of it, Trump is still kind of pulling ahead in the polls? If you don't trust the recent polls, at the very least, he's neck and neck, right? So how can that be? Despite all the stuff, the trials and the charges and the Jan 6 commission and, the general madness surrounding American politics in the last few years, how can that be? How can he still be right there? The answer to that question is not the way that American discourse frames it. It's not about, minor league social trends or cultural trends or what have you. It is about immiseration, okay? And when I look at America today, the problem is that it is still a society undergoing widespread immiseration. We just talked about a statistic that kind of proves it beyond a shadow of a doubt. It's an incredibly dire one. 70% of Americans feel financially traumatized. Okay? Super dire statistic. I mean, I can keep going down the line for you, right? Half of American kids, this is a statistic that really troubles me. Half of American kids feel persistently hopeless. Okay, so the process of immiseration does not appear to have stopped in America. It doesn't appear to have given an inch. Okay, and so in the big picture, what I really want you to see are the ways that macro forces shape societies. Okay, especially in American discourse, we play a very tactical game. We're told to think in terms of, minor league stuff, ad campaigns and slogans or scandals or what have you. That's not what shapes the future of societies, really. It is macro forces. And the biggest macro force acting in America right now is still immiseration. Well-being has still plummeted, right? Life is still difficult. It's brutal. It's hard out there. And so all of that begins to explain this undying appeal of Trumpism, right? And like I said, I get it on a level. I'm not trying to deny that there's a really ugly element to it, right? Bigotry and prejudice and all of this kind of thing. But on another level, it's also easy to see how in an immiserated place, society, time, people turn to demagogues out of sheer rage, anger, despair. This is an old story, right? This is this is not new. America is not the first place this has happened. So what happened in Weimar Germany, right? This is what happened in Rome. This is even what happened in Athens after a while as democracy gave way. So this is an old story. It's a classical pattern of how societies collapse and democracies collapse. So I really want you to understand that and be conversant with it. There's kind of the small picture explanation of, why is this still happening? Why is American democracy still on the brink? And that doesn't really get us very far, because you can see that, the Democratic establishment and the pundits and all these guys are completely baffled. They don't get it. They don't understand. They just keep asking the question, the Post had an article the other day, a series of articles. How in the world is Trump winning? So they don't understand. And as a consequence of that, people don't understand. So what I want to teach you in this video is that dynamic process of how societies collapse. Immiseration gives way to implosion. Okay? In immiserated societies, in immiserated times, people turn to fanatical politics, extremism, of fascism, authoritarianism, theocracy, all the things you can see joining hands on America's kind of far right now. So in that sense, Hillary is right. And, in the broader picture, I'm very, for those of us who've been warning of this for a long time, it's been a decade now, it's okay, it's nice, it's gratifying to see that the warnings are finally being taken seriously. And I don't mean Hillary, right? She's been warning of it for a long time. But, they should have been taken seriously sooner, because this is real. American democracy is staring down the barrel of a gun, of implosion. Immiseration gives way to implosion. If you take one thing away from this video, Remember that. Thank you for watching. We'll talk more about it soon. Bye.